Standard 8 Subject Geography. Lesson number 3 Humidity and Clouds. Humidity in the air. The proportion of water vapor in the air is called humidity. The dryness or dampness of air depends on the proportion of water vapor. If the air has low humidity, the air is dry. If the humidity in the air is high, then the air becomes humid. Humidity is measured in grams per cubic meter. Use of brain power. Generally, humidity is more in which season? Humidity is generally more during the monsoon season. How does humidity affect the human body? Humidity affects the human body by causing increase in sweating and the rate of respiration. How does humidity affect the food material at home? Due to humidity, fungus flourish on food material at home and it gets spoiled. Is there a relation between the formation of fungus and humidity? Yes, there is a direct relationship between formation of fungus and humidity. Humidity supports the growth of fungus. How is the early or late drying up of clothes related to humidity? As the moisture holding capacity is found to be high in low humidity air, it leads to early drying up of clothes. As the moisture holding capacity is found to be low in high humidity air, it leads to late drying up of clothes. In which season do clothes dry fast? Clothes dry fast in the summer season. In which season do the clothes take time to dry? What could be the reason? During the rainy season, clothes take time to dry, reason being high humidity in the air. Moisture holding capacity of the air. Air can hold moisture at a specific temperature and in a specific capacity. This capacity is known as the moisture holding capacity of the air. As the air becomes cooler, its moisture holding capacity reduces, which means hot air holds more moisture than cold air. At a certain temperature, the moisture holding capacity of the air becomes equal to the proportion of moisture present in the air. This condition of the air is known as saturation of air. You all must be wondering, what does saturation of the air mean? Well, to understand this, let us perform an activity. To begin with, place one tray on the table. Now, with the help of nails, make small holes at the bottom of the tray. Place the piece of sponge in the center of this tray. While placing the sponge, make sure there is no water in the sponge. Now pour water on the sponge with the big spoon. I am keeping account of the amount of water and pouring on the sponge. We shall keep pouring water with the spoon till the sponge becomes wet with water. Now this sponge is completely wet, which means this is the water holding capacity of the sponge. Let us see what happens if we pour more water. Now answer few questions based on the activity. What happened to the water which was poured initially? The water which was poured initially was absorbed in a sponge. While pouring water on the sponge, what did you expect? While pouring water on the sponge, we expected that water would trickle out from the sponge. What happened when you poured more water on the sponge? When we poured more water on the sponge, the water trickled out from the sponge. What conclusions can you draw from this activity? After certain limits, the water holding capacity of the sponge gets over and it becomes saturated. From this activity, we got to know that the water holding capacity of the piece of sponge. We also observed after adding extra water to the sponge, drops of water started trickling out. Based on the observation, we can also tell the number of spoons of water required to make the water trickle down the sponge. Which means that once the water holding capacity of the sponge is fulfilled, it gets saturated. Similarly, when the proportion of moisture in the air exceeds its vapor holding capacity, precipitation in the form of rain or snow occurs on the earth. Thank you.